I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, you look exhausted. It's been giving you a hard time, huh?
I've never been so exhausted in my whole life. I feel nauseous all the time. I puke like 3 times today. I'm so irritable. This back pain is killing me. Not to mention the constant urge to pee is driving me crazy. Yeah, he's sucking life out of me.
Almost like
How dare you!
well, read this.
An organism living in, on, or with another organism in order to obtain nutrients, grow or multiply, often in a state that directly or indirectly harms the host.
Sounds familiar?
Get out! It's the best thing that has ever happened to me, okay? Welcome back to the Masquerade of Misery. Today let's talk about one of the most delusional group of people, pregnant women. You know, it's already bad enough on its own that they bring another person here to go through all this suffering that comes with being alive. But God, you can hear some really gory and awful horror stories from pregnant women and women who went through, giving birth. You can hear about such complications, such amount of pain and problems that they have never had in their whole lives, and all the things that can go wrong and all the things that can get fucked up. One of the most common ones is the constant nausea, puking, weird cravings for such combinations of food that otherwise they would never even think of consuming. Then you have, of course, the constant fatigue, that you're always so exhausted. You have no energy to anything, you just want to rest all day, nothing to do. They have back pain, several, spine problems, muscle problems that might even remain after pregnancy. Their whole body goes through a really awful change. And it's like the life is getting sucked out of them. And these are not my words only. They are the ones who say that, yeah, I feel like, oh, the life was being drained out of me. Oh my God, I'm so tired all the time. I can't keep anything down. And I've been so crazy emotionally. And I have to pee all the time. So basically they go on complaining. Excuse this fucking vibration. I cannot do anything about this. So fuck it. So they go on basically complaining about how awful it is. And there are several women who have really serious complications that endangers their lives or their health, and they can have it damaged permanently or at least for a long time, or the baby's life gets in danger. Just all the 9 months of pure hell that pregnancy is. And then these women go through the labor, which is another type of hell on its own. The most excruciating pain that you can ever have, and everything they tell you about this, and they suffer from it for maybe 10 hours, 20 hours, who knows how fucking long before that little shit is born. And then, of course, the process itself of the childbirth. I mean, even till this day, many women die of childbirth throughout the world, even in developed countries. Surely not many people are aware of this. And you just wonder that if it's so wonderful and if it's a blessing, then why all this suffering? Why all this pain? And why all this shit that comes with pregnancy and childbirth? Why is it such a hellish process? Why does it feel like it's a punishment? Makes you think. Why does your body treat it as an illness, or as if you have a parasite and is trying to get rid of it so desperately? And another delicious thing that might come after you give birth to the kid, you can still develop postpartum depression. And even this is an interesting phenomenon to me. That they always say that, oh, but once you hold him or her in your hands and everything will change and you will think that it was all worth my fucking ass. The real hard part comes after the kid is born. You have to spend decades with that child. You cannot get rid of it. You have to raise it. You have to take care of it, feed it, change the diaper, deal with them when they are teenagers and the most annoying fucking brats ever. You have to deal with the temper tantrums, the pure egoism that they have, that it's all about me, pay attention to me. And we see your whole fucking world revolves around that kid or more. That's what I don't get also, the other thing. That these women go through the worst type of pain and suffering, or one of the worst definitely, and then they decide to do it all over again. Maybe 2 more times, 5 more times, who the fuck knows? I mean, can you get more masochistic and delusional than this? And that you dare to say that, oh, it's a wonderful experience, it's such a journey. Well, if you love pain and you love to suffer, then, well, yeah, that's the right fucking trip for you. I can never wrap my head around this, seriously. And even back in the day, when I was also, conditioned to wish for a child and, start a family when I grow up, I was scared shitless from pregnancy and the whole process. Because, well, I'm fucking terrified of, things like food poisoning, puking and all that shit. I'm trying to avoid it as much as possible. And the thought of me having to deal with this fucking nausea, maybe for weeks or months, well, it wasn't an attractive thing to me at all. Or the torturous, excruciating pain that I would feel. But I was like, oh, but that's how it is, and I should go through it because, yeah, I want a family, and no, I don't. Especially after I worked in a daycare and had to take care of other people's brats. That's when I realized that, fuck, I have zero patience for kids. I don't get their brains, and I don't want to deal with them, not even with my own. And then, of course, came the moral aspect of it as well, that the best way, the best gift to give my child is to not bring them here from the peaceful nothingness. So nowadays I have more than one reason to not have any. But these are the things I collected and thought about on my own, that just how delusional they are, these women, or masochistic as fuck. And luckily there are some, who have their first child and they say, fuck, never again, because complications they had, health problems, the horrible process, everything made them realize that, okay, one is more than enough, I don't need to go through this again. Who the fuck wants to? But apparently, quite a few idiots. That's all I can say. Also, the other things that comes to play here is the goddamn code that they have, this, the biological urges to breed that unfortunately not many people manage to overcome yet. And also the societal conditioning, that's the order of life. You grow up, you go to school, you finish school, then you become an obedient slave at a company. You find your partner, then of course if you have a partner it means you need to get married, and of course once you are married you have to produce kids and make your parents to grandparents and make them happy, and just what they expect from you, just follow what everyone else wants you to do. And many people do it just because of this societal pressure, or pressure from relatives, friends and all that crap, and because they have been indoctrinated that that's what I should do, otherwise my life has no meaning, and what kind of person will I be if I don't have a child, and I will be the most selfish person ever. Yeah, but when you ask someone why they want kids or why they have or had kids, basically all of them begins with because I wanted, or my parents wanted. So it's all about themselves. So basically not having kids is actually the selfless thing to do, because you consider the life of that other being. Like, oh my god, what if that poor kid that I bring here, even though I try my best to give them a good life, but they will eventually get fucked by the education system, the awful healthcare system, by this slave life where they find a fucking job where they are not treated as a human, then all the things that can come: depression, anxiety, being cast out, being bullied, being robbed, murdered, raped. I could go on forever. So who the fuck wants to risk all this and gamble with the life of another being? Oh my child, life, the world is so dangerous, you need to be careful. Then first of all, why the fuck did you bring that kid here? Lack of logic, absolutely. Common sense, zero. So yeah, to me, this process of the pregnancy and how your body treats that, this new life growing inside you, basically treats it like something to get rid of. That's why you're the puking or the pain and everything. The miscarriages that happen, they happen quite often. All this gory shit that the childbirth, all of this to me is like a punishment, as if we are not really meant to do it. Because with the animals, you see them get pregnant and give birth to their offsprings, but you don't see them that much suffering like the humans do. You don't see them struggle so much, or they go through the pregnancy quite smoothly, or I might be wrong, but I haven't really seen it in the animal world, this amount of suffering and all the complications that can happen. Animals work purely on instincts, and maybe the reason why human females suffer much more with all this process of bringing a new life is because maybe it's really like a punishment, because we have self-awareness, we have a sense of morality, the free will to decide whether we want kids or not. And despite of all the things we know about how tough life is in nature and in human society, these people still think that it's okay to breed. And it's like the universe is like punishing you for it, even though the universe itself is an evil fucking system. Because I mean, really, when there were horrible things like, the plague, the bloody wars and famine and all this dark, ugly shit, people were breeding like rabbits, and still do, and I will just never understand. So yeah, so wonderful, this experience of getting pregnant and bringing someone here to suffer. And what I thought of is that the most malicious in all of this is the fact that women are fucked either way. Because if you decide to have a kid, then all I just mentioned before happens to you. You have to go through all that. But if you don't, then every month you get these nice 4 to maybe 7 days, depends on the individual, where you bleed a lot and you have horrible cramps, and also there are countless girls and women who have a really, really awful period every month. In my case, I have very bad cramps, but I'm luckily still able to handle it with painkillers, and I'm still able to work and do everyday tasks. But it can be really awful. But others, they can faint, have diarrhea, puke, all those delicious things that can come with it, and basically it feels like we are punished either way. Oh, you have no baby, then okay, let's bleed, and give you this feeling as if the Texas chainsaw murderer is doing his job down there in your uterus. Or if you want a child, then okay, let's make you go through this lovely process, and perhaps your offspring, might not survive even the pregnancy, can be stillborn, can have any genetic disorder, or who knows, your child might become a serial killer later or be a victim of one. The list of opportunities and possibilities are endless. I also wanna play a clip from Desperate Housewives where Lynette Scavo sums it up perfectly. What it's like to be a mother.
Hon, could you get me a glass of water, please?
You got it.
Thanks. It's our first.
Yeah, I got that.
How about you?
4 at home, 2 on the way.
Oh, big family. You're so blessed. I just can't imagine anything better than being a mommy.
Really?
I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but luckily, my husband plans to be really hands-on.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Pardon?
Oh, he'll be there at first, maybe even change a diaper or 2 until the novelty wears off, but those 4 a.m. feedings he said he'd help out with, forget it.
Oh, you don't know my Johnny. He's different.
Does he have boobs?
No?
Then you're the only bar in town. That baby can scream into a bullhorn and Johnny won't budge.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm not done. You see this? You'll never wear a bikini again.
But you've had 4 kids and you look good.
You haven't seen me naked. My stomach looks like Spanish stucco, and my breasts resemble 2 balloons you find behind the couch a week after the party.
You know, most women say this is the greatest experience of their life.
Most women are liars. My mother was a liar, and her mother was a liar, and your mother is a liar. It's a lie every generation tells the next so they can get grandchildren.
Please stop talking to me.
No, you need to hear this. You have to be prepared. Your children will hate you and steal from your purse. Your husband will begin to buy your birthday presents at the car wash. And the kicker, for the rest of your life, there will be so many moments when you feel lonely, but you will never be alone.
They were out of water. Is juice okay?
Hormones. Get used to it.
So that's it for today. See you next time. Praise the Reaper. Nem tudom már, hol a faszba voltam.